I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a nutrition detective, is the world's leading expert on vitamin A, toxicity, and detoxification along with this toxic bile paradigm. No other than Dr. Garrett Smith.
Thank you for having me on today.
Welcome to Book 101, Dr. Garrett, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Well, I am located in Tucson, Arizona, but I'm a licensed naturopathic doctor, which means I'm kind of what a lot of people would know of as a doctor of alternative medicine. So I do the stuff that's not pharmaceuticals and not surgeries and not that stuff. So I work mainly in the realm of nutrition and detoxification. We help people I believe the basics of health are built through avoiding toxicity or getting toxicity out of us, toxic things that cause our body to not run right. And then we also work on giving the body what it needs in terms of specific nutrients, whether that's what we call macronutrients like carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and the micronutrients like vitamins and minerals that we specifically need to especially run detox and to heal the damage that we have. And we have a virtual practice. We've worked with people in 28 countries around the world. And we do testing, we do hair and blood testing, and we seem to be able to fix things that other people have not been able to fix, or they just think that once you have it, you're broken and it never gets better. So yeah, it seems to be going pretty well. And that's what I do. And I have a weekly show on YouTube myself and social media and all that fun stuff. So out there spreading the word.
Spreading the word indeed, Dr. Garrett Smith. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Let's empower people all over the world through your nutrition detectiveness. And today, let's talk about Mel Robbins' Let Them theory.
Yeah.
Let Them theory started as a social media concept. What convinced Mel this idea needed a full book, and how does the book deepen the original message?
Okay, well, so this book called the Let Them theory. My girlfriend read it and she told me about it, and she said, I think it would really help you. I think it's really brilliant. And so I said, well, my girlfriend is extremely intelligent. And I said, well, if it really helped her and she thinks I could really use it, I want to read it. Now, the idea of it, so the Let Them idea, why it works so well, or what people will often say they understand the idea and they get it. So the idea of Let Them would be like, we have no control over what other people do or what other people think of us. So any energy that we put into that, like trying to control people or trying to control what people think of us, is wasted energy because we just can't do anything about it. So people are anxious about what other people are doing, or angry, or whatever emotions that people are putting into what other people are doing or thinking is just wasted. As I've told people about this book, they go, oh yeah, I know that. And I see these people, and it happens to all of us, losing energy because even though they say they know it, they don't actually do it. They don't actually not care about what other people are doing. So in this book, which I have the hard copy and I've read about half of it. I went through the audiobook fully on airplane flights. And I'm on it the second time already through, because I know that this is such a difficult thing for people to do. As I was saying, a lot of people say they know it. I just talked to somebody yesterday very close to me who's like, yeah, I know all that. And this is the person who I noticed the most lets other people bother them. So again, I hear people say this, and this is why I'm telling people, like, the way this book goes over it puts it into so there's the idea of let them. So the let them idea is you're going to let them think and do whatever they're going to do, because they're going to do it anyway. So you're going to, like, the idea of let them is you're just letting them do it. You cannot stop them. You can't stop other people from ruining their lives. You can't stop other people from doing all sorts of mistakes that you think are wrong. And then the other part that is not in the title of the book is the then let me, which is the, so if they can do this, I only control what I can do. So let me now do this. And as she talks about in the book, like sometimes you have to repeat this to yourself over and over and over. And each time it helps a little bit, but it doesn't just, like, saying it one time doesn't just make it all go away. So it was just really brilliant. She talks about it in terms of like making friends, in terms of business, in terms of all these different areas. So it's kind of like one of the things that the book really does is it hammers it home so many times in the book. That's actually what I really liked, was the kind of repetition of it and putting it into different situations. And there's a lot of her personal anecdotes in the book, and I could immediately see, like, in my field, I am out there in the world saying that vitamin A is not a vitamin, it is only a poison. So I'm going against the mainstream in the biggest way. If I cared, if I put a lot of energy, and so since I'm doing that, I'm kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it an iconoclast or a rebel or whatever. I'm going against the grain. Like, I've always done that. In terms of what I discover and what I decide to do, I don't really care what other people think. However, as I'm getting bigger, as I'm getting more popular, and the idea is getting more popular because it works, there are more people coming and trying to attack the idea, trying to, of course, they want to kill the messenger. They want to attack me personally. And so this kind of came at a very good time of me saying, well, let them think whatever they want. I'm here helping people get better. I'm doing what I do. I see the results. So let them think whatever they want, and then let me do what I believe God put me here to do. So it's really helpful. Actually, the part about friendships in the book, as an adult making friends, it was really helpful. I just think the whole just let them, like, so anything in your life that happens, whether, like your car breaks down and you're mad about it and you're upset about it, you can use like the let them idea with that. Like, I can't control my car. Okay, so then what am I going to do? Like, it's very, like, you can use this kind of let them idea for anything that happens to you. You can just, okay, it happened. And I found it so stress reducing, because all of something bad happens and people will just be like, oh, it's just going to happen. Just don't care. And then you see those same people really affected by, something comes up that they didn't plan or they didn't want, and they are really affected by it. So this is why, as she talks about in the book, like, it takes practice, and you're gonna slip up at times. You're gonna fail at it for a little while until maybe you remember it, and then you start putting it into action, because there's always those reactions that we have when something happens and we get upset about it. Like, that's the gut reaction. But then what we choose to do about it after that, that's the let me, right? The things are going to happen. Let it happen. Let them happen. Let them think whatever they want. And then you go to the let me, and then you can take, the only thing you control is your own actions. So then you do that. So it's a really, as she said, it was a little social media thing she put out, and the response of people to it was super intense and strong in a good way. And then she decided to turn it into a whole book. And I'm very glad she did it, because sometimes these great ideas, they're so simple that, like, a lot of people will say, I understand this concept. I understand it. I understand that it's good. I understand that I should do it. But it's almost like they haven't practiced it. I mean, this is the biggest thing about, you've got people coming on talking about books all the time. People read books all the time, but they don't actually do what it tells them. Or they think it's great, but they don't actually do it. This is the thing with anything, right? You can read a book or watch a video and do all this stuff, but if you don't actually do anything, if you don't have the let me, then nothing happens. So it's like people, if they bought my nutrition program, and maybe they don't read it, or they do read it, but they don't actually do it. Does that help them? No, it doesn't do anything. So all of these things are, yeah. So if you're going there, yeah, that's the Love Your Liver program under the membership link on my website. Is kind of my do-it-yourself program. You're on the shop page. Go up to the top, the membership link right there on the top link. Go down a little bit,
Okay,
and then to the left. There you go. So yeah, this is my Love Your Liver program, which is in effect a book. It's bigger than a book because I've got videos on. I've got hours of videos on there. This is the link to get into it. It's a private network, so it's behind a paywall. So anyway, that's basically my life's work, and we're helping people get better with it. But again, if people don't do what they buy or what they look into, and if they don't do anything, nothing happens. So, if you want something to change, you have to change something. Or if you don't change anything, everything just stays the same, is another way of putting that. So I really liked that Let Them Theory book. Was just extremely helpful in all aspects of my life immediately as soon as I started going through it. So anybody who goes and decides to read this, at the start of the book, I did the whole oh yeah, I know this makes sense. I don't need to read a whole book on this because it's just going to say the same thing over and over. And as I was going through it and I was listening to it, I kept hearing she's just saying the same thing again. She's just saying the same thing in a different context. She's just saying the same thing again. And then I finally, as it was hammered into my skull multiple times, I finally went, and as I was doing it, and then I started thinking about things in my life, family members, friends, work, social media, whatever, I went, oh, this is so useful, and I haven't been doing it. I have not been putting this into practice like everybody thinks they do, or they should, or they know about it, but they just don't do it. So knowing about something doesn't mean anything without action. And so I started taking action on it. And now I'm reminding people, actually, the person I told you who was having the most difficulty with this, I asked them the other day, I said, can I give you this book? I would really like to help you out. I would love to give you this book. And they say, I don't have time to read books. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, then nothing changes. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. So, and she was actually saying she's been getting better at doing that as she goes. So it's you can really help people who really get affected by things that happen to them, or that they're very sensitive to criticism. Those kind of folks where criticism really destroys them, those people would really, really benefit from this book. Especially if they're doing something that is against the norm like I'm doing. So, or for people who are, let's say, working with me, and then they're trying to go and talk to their family and friends about it, and their family and friends are saying, that's crazy, that can't work, this doesn't make any sense, this is not what the mainstream media says, this is not what the nutrition books say. Well, and I just tell them to lead by example. So I say, let them think whatever they want. They'll let me, or let the person is going to then lead by example by fixing their health. And then that's actually one of the things she talks about in the book, is how to help other people that you want to change. Because if you try to change them, if you purposely try to change them, they will actually resist you more. And so she goes, it's scientifically proven that if you purposely try to make somebody change, they will resist it even more and possibly get worse in the things that they're doing that aren't good for them, or that you don't want them to do. So she goes over how to do it. And one of the biggest things is to lead by example. So leading by example, I tell my people, your family and friends will probably not do this. I say, you go and get better. You go and get yourself better. And then you're this shining star of health. They knew that you were sick. They knew that, a lot of my people are some of the sickest people out there. And they see them get better. And then I say, well, first of all, you can kind of throw out hints, but also you wait for them to say, what are you doing? So then you can then go, okay, I've been doing this. I told you about this like a year ago, and now look at me, and I'm doing great. And there we go. So yeah, it's a very important thing. Like the part in there about helping other people is very important. And you kind of have to be okay with, like, if you have a loved one and a partner, let's say, what if they never change? That's an important thing to ask yourself. Like, if they never change this thing about themselves that you dislike so much, or you want them to fix, can you still love them? Can you still love that person if they keep doing exactly what they've been doing? And then that's just a decision only the person can make. So yeah, it's helpful in so many ways. I'm using that aspect on a loved one of mine right now. I mean, I have loved ones all around me who see what I do, and they see what I do for a living and helping people, and they don't do what I say. Like, they're not doing well health-wise. They know that I fix people from stuff that people thought couldn't be fixed, and they don't want to do anything that I say. They don't look into my program. They don't take the supplements that I make. They don't do any of that stuff. So I just kind of go, let them do what they're going to do. And I'll keep doing what I do. And then maybe someday they'll come around. And
They appreciate.
Yeah.
They appreciate you, Dr. Garrett. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom again. And very well said. How does let them theory differ from a simple detachment or resignation? What's the active empowering component?
Well, that was kind of what I was going over, the let me. Like, there's not, I mean, if bad things are going to happen every day. So the let me part is the empowering part, where, or like, I'll tell people, like, I actually believe, and I show research that, let's say we inherit, when we are born, we inherit the toxicities and the deficiencies of our parents. Like, it is actually literally handed down to us. I mean, you're made of what your mother was made of. You can't be made of anything else, right? So if your mother was toxic and deficient, she can't give you nutrients that she didn't have. And she's going to build you of the same stuff that she is built of, which can be toxicities. So we have people who were born unwell. They were like, they've been unhealthy their entire lives. They could be upset about that their whole life. One of the things about my work, the empowering part in a certain way, is we're going to say, well, however you were born, you have to accept it, and then you change yourself. The let me is you fix it from here. You're the only one who can fix it. It's really about personal responsibility and accountability. And another thing that I'm just going to throw out there, this is my own thing that I got from, I forget who I got it from, but if you're the type who prays for things, pray for solutions to come. I've found this to be the most helpful thing. There's that saying, God helps those who help themselves. Well, helping yourself, if God presents you with if you pray for solutions and God gives you a solution, presents you with a solution that shows up in your brain or however it shows up in your life, God helps those who help themselves. Helping themselves, or let me, would then be taking the action and doing the solution that was presented to you. So then not only do you gain agency, but you now have a solution, and you have now empowered yourself and potentially empowered others to do similar things. So that is a big, there's the let them is kind of like it happened, and the let me is now the taking action, the self-responsibility, the accountability, and then moving forward and doing stuff about it. So, yeah.
Dr. Garrett, as a nutrition detective and a CEO and founder of your company, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Well, short-term, we're working on, the problem is I got too many irons in the fire. I have a gentleman who has found a publisher who wants to work on a book. I'm keeping up with my weekly live stream. We are in 5 more episodes. I will have done a live stream or an episode or a live stream every week for the last 4 years straight, not missing a single week. So we're going to keep up with that. We had a new supplement just come out this week. We have another new one coming out very soon. We're going to keep making amazing products because we insist on the cleanest ingredients and minimal fillers if even we have to add them. So we're going to keep making new products. I'm going to keep updating the website. These are short-term things. Long-term goals, oh gosh, the things we've talked about. We may be looking into patents on certain nutraceutical products. We may be working on, we may actually end up manufacturing our own supplements. So we may have our own manufacturing facility so we can control it from the very start of it. Yeah, it's just gonna, I have several practitioners or health facilitators, we call them, who are working, doing training, helping people with the packages, the consultation packages. In the future, I'm going to start doing more seminars. I've done one main seminar of my recent stuff, but we're going to start doing more seminars and training more people to help other people. And yeah, so that's we got lots of stuff going on, and I'm getting some help with direction on where to go right now.
Good luck to your goals, Dr. Garrett, and hoping for more and more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be entrepreneur like you?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, anybody who sees, let's say they see me, a lot of people go, well, should I become a naturopathic doctor, or could I become a naturopathic doctor, or how do I do that? The thing about what I learned in naturopathic medical school was, I actually, as I've come around to all these things, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned how they work. And so I learned I don't want to do those things because they're not actually fixing the root cause. So I tell people, like, who want to go into naturopathic medicine, as an example, I say, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be willing in this field. There's not jobs out there waiting for you to be filled. If you want to do this in alternative medicine, you pretty much have to be ready in this field. You pretty much have to be ready to start your own business. So if you just want to get your ND and then work for somebody else, unless you're in a big city, that's probably not going to happen. If you're in a smaller town, you're going to have to do your own business. Like, I remember a buddy of mine in school, he was the biggest kind of like hippie, crunchy guy, and now he's an entrepreneur, and he's doing better than I am up in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to go see him in a couple weeks. So it's really like the guys who we never thought would be entrepreneurs in our school are doing, the guys who realize that this is business. I wish it in a way, I wish it wasn't. And I wish I could work for free. Would I do what I do for free? Yes. Is doing what I do for free going to put food on the table? No. So, and making supplements costs money. So then you gotta keep the business open. So anyway, it's becoming an entrepreneur. Like, well, actually, let me give an example of my son. My son is in school, and they have these entrepreneur or basic like business programs at the high school he's going to. And they actually have another program through the community college that you can do more business stuff. And he's very interested in that. And I told him, do that right now, because you don't know what your love is yet. You don't know what your passion is yet. Most people don't. Somebody might know it in high school, but most people don't. He's just starting high school. So I say, if you get all the business stuff, the basic ideas of business, he gets to see me doing what I do. And then if you go and you learn business stuff, then you have all that background. And then when you figure out what you love, then you just apply the business to what you love. So if you don't know what you want to do yet, but you're pretty sure you're going to be an entrepreneur, learn about the business stuff, running a business, or go work for somebody who is an entrepreneur of the type of business you want to be in. Even if you're mopping the floors, even if you're just filing stuff or just doing like grunt work on the computer, like go and do it. And the business owner will usually love, if they're a good person, they will love to share how to do this with you. So basically, I tell people, like, when you're in school, if you wanted to be, I don't know, an acupuncturist, go and work for an acupuncturist office, like be the front desk person. Then you learn all the business stuff and you know what your front desk would need to do. So when you go and you have your own practice, you know how the front desk works, which is the part that most practitioners don't have any idea how to do. So I just tell people, like, learn the business of what you want to do first. And then even still, if you change what you want to do, if it's still like, let's say in medicine and you've done the front desk stuff, that's easy to transfer. That's easily transferable knowledge. So yeah, that's just like, I was a personal trainer before I went into medicine, and that I got to work with people. I got to do one-to-one, teach them how to do stuff, tell them ideas and see how they responded. Did they get it? Do I need to tell them again in a different way? So then, and I was an entrepreneur. Well, I was a personal trainer working for other people. And then I realized, as my dad told me when I was young, he says, I don't see you working for somebody when you're out in the real world. And at the time I was like, I couldn't imagine working for myself. And I said, I think I'll be okay, Dad. I'll be okay working for somebody. And as I got older, I realized that I was not going to do well working for anybody else and that I had to do it on my own. And thank goodness, Julie, everybody hears me talk about Julie. Thank goodness Julie joined me, and we have been building this whole thing together. So it's been quite a ride. But yeah, get the business. When you don't know, the biggest thing I can tell people is when you don't know what you want to do yet, think of what you might want to do and learn about that business and get a job in that business so you can learn, so you can see if you like it. First of all, if you hate what goes on in that business, in that field, then you know, and you didn't go and get a degree or a certificate in something that you realize you don't like later. So if you're in school for something, work in that field, and then you know, you can make good decisions about whether you're going to like it in 10 years or not, or you can at least have the best information because you've been there. So that's what I got.
Thank you for your advice, Dr. Garrett. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in 5th season, abstract poetry in 2nd season, and my book 101 review in 5th season too, comedy 101 2nd season, and my food 101 in 5th season as well, geography 101 in 4th season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in 3rd season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its 4th season, Science 101 and Sex 101 in 1st season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. And Dr. Garrett, if you could challenge listeners to try one small, low stakes, let them experiment today, what would it be?
That's tough. Just the key thing would be if something upsets you today, or if there's something that's been upsetting you that you have no control over, that you literally cannot control, just keep thinking, let them, or let that happen, let it happen, or let them think this or do this. And then your big action after that. And you need to keep saying that over and over and over and over and over, because these things bother us. And we have to train ourselves to kind of let go of it. Then the let me is, what are you going to actively do? What can you actively do in that situation to make your situation better, or whatever it is? What can you do? That's the let me. So just one thing today that's bothering you, and try to do that. Let them, or let them and let me. That's the key part. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. People, let them theory is highly recommended. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Dr. Garrett Smith. Can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business itself, or any projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, well, our we mainly have three things. They can all be found at nutritiondetective.com. That is our main website. That is where you can find our the do-it-yourself program, my life's work, called the Love Your Liver program, and it's a network of people who are all working towards their health, and it's private, so there's it's not on the internet. And people can come in there and find the program, and they can converse with others who are doing it. Then there's the testing and consultation packages, which is what we do, which is the health facilitators I mentioned. We do hair and blood testing. We do it's a consultation with one of our facilitators, and then you get 6 months of support, small group support from all 4 of the facilitators, myself included, and then the other 3. We all have a session each week. So you get 6 months of troubleshooting support from potentially all 4 of our health facilitators, me included. So then and you get, if you sign up for a package, you get lifetime access to the Love Your Liver program, because that's the nutrition part of the whole thing that I don't have time to tell everybody in a consult. And then finally, there are the supplements. You can find those on our website. The shop is the public store. If somebody joins the Love Your Liver program, then they get access to the VIP store, where we give further discounts on the supplements to people who are in the Love Your Liver program. So those are the 3 main things. I'm also most active on social media on YouTube, which is youtube.com/nutritiondetective. And I'm also on Rumble too. You can find me at Nutrition Detective on Rumble too. And then Twitter. Twitter is where I'm most active on normal social media, if you will. And that is NutriDetect, NutriDetect, and that's where you can find me. So that's what I'm doing out on the internet right now.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Garrett Smith, because if you support him, more and more and more empowering products to come. And for sure, we are looking forward for that upcoming book. Dr. Garrett Smith, you are most welcome to come back, and let's promote on Book 101 review. And Dr. Garrett Smith, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Modicon people, see you soon.